Pianist, chamber musician, composer, educator, comedian. Those 5 titles rarely come together to signify one person. Hyung-ki Joo is one such rare artist. Born in Norwich, England, Hyung-ki made his public debut in 1996, performing Beethoven's Piano Concerto No. 4 at Barbican Hall on the occasion of Igudesman Joo's 80th birthday concert. The London Times wrote of his performance, "Joo brought a freshness of approach. That joy in communication is all too rare in professional music making." Still maintaining a residence in New York after attending MSM, Hyung-ki was chosen by the piano man himself, Billy Joel, to work on a new endeavor, Joel's first foray into composing classical concert music. Billy Joel had been crafting several solo piano pieces, hearkening back to his love of Chopin and Schumann, but as he freely admitted, he lacked the real technique himself to do them justice.
I mostly play bass, and I'm always worried about just hitting the right notes.
The 2-year project culminated in the album Fantasies and Delusions, released on Columbia Sony Classical. It broke into the top 100 on Billboard and stayed at number 1 on the classical charts for 18 weeks. Hyung-ki's solo artistry was featured on a PBS Smithsonian Institution film entitled Piano Grand, which highlighted the panorama of piano styles and genres with additional performances by Jean-Yves Thibaudet, Diana Krall, Cyrus Chestnut, Robert Levin, and Jerry Lee Lewis. Hyung-ki's initial wish to become a musician was born out of a desire to compose. Just this year, Austrian TV broadcast a documentary portrait of Hyung-ki that features his compositions and also stars Hollywood film composing legend Hans Zimmer. Zimmer commented, "The beauty of his writing emerges with ingenious subtlety, as he knows full well that you need to seduce listeners with charm before devastating them with emotion." Many of Joo's orchestra and chamber ensemble compositions are published on Universal Edition, including Lullaby for Leo for violin and piano. Always the music entrepreneur, Hyung-ki is in the development stages with a team of MIT graduates to create an app called Music Traveler, an online application that will aid musicians in finding and booking available space and/or instruments for practice and rehearsal anywhere in the world. His passion for sharing his expertise and joy of music making has led Hyung-ki to teach and guest lecture at institutions around the world. His workshop, entitled Beyond the Practice Room, is designed to explore less charted areas of the different processes involved in making music. His sessions remind musicians of all levels that music is meant to be fun. He opens their awareness and senses to the thing that is happening beyond the 4 walls of a practice room, namely life and living.
Element of surprise for yourselves. Because if you have the element of surprise, then we have a chance of being surprised.
Rachmaninoff Prelude. Tchaikovsky Piano Concerto. 3rd movement, Finale. Faster. Ow.
When Hyung-ki was 12 and a student at England's Igudesman Joo School, he met a violinist named Alexei Igudesman, a musician who would become a lifelong collaborator and friend. Following in the footsteps of such comedic luminaries as Victor Borge, Peter Schickele, and Dudley Moore, they created their first show, A Little Nightmare Music, which premiered in Austria at the Vienna Musikverein in 2004. Since then, they have performed as a duo with chamber and symphony orchestras in many of the world's largest and most well-known venues and festivals. Their unique and hilariously theatrical shows combine comedy with classical music and popular culture. Their clips on YouTube have gathered over 40 million views, and the duo has appeared on television in numerous countries and in stadiums in front of crowds of 18,000. Their goal? To make classical music accessible to a wider and younger audience. In 2007, they began a collaboration with Gidon Kramer. Their work together has culminated in over 40 concerts to date. They first appeared with pianist Emanuel Ax in a concert celebrating Bernard Haiting's 80th birthday.
Emanuel Ax is just first of all, one of our great musicians that we look up to.
He asked us whether we wanted to do something with him. We were, of course, very chuffed, and we said no. But then he offered us a lot of money, and we couldn't say no to money.
Can you just get out of the way, please? Just go away. What? Just, no, get out.
Between 2011 and 2013, the duo played important performances on both U.S. coasts, including New York's Carnegie Hall and in Los Angeles at the Hollywood Bowl with the L.A. Philharmonic. On New Year's Eve 2013, they headlined a sold-out New Year's Eve performance at Lincoln Center with the New York Philharmonic. The New York Times raved. Their blend of classical music and comedy, laced with pop culture references and a wholly novel take on the word slapstick, is fueled by genuine, dazzling virtuosity. The New York Philharmonic commissioned a new work from the duo, Ring in the Classics, now published on Universal Edition.
The great American composer Charles Ives wrote a very historic piece called the Concord Sonata. And in this piece, he requires the pianist to strike the piano with a 14 3/4-inch piece of wood. So the inspiration came a lot from Ives and also from the fact that Rachmaninoff had such big hands and I have small hands. So there are certain chords which are actually unplayable if you take it literally. And so this was the spark to create a piece of wood that would just play that chord.
We hope that this unique performer, educator, and entertainer will continue to bring his artistry to diverse global audiences. And we're certain that the future of classical music is in good hands with Hyung-ki Joo, even if they are small ones.
Let's face it, you just have to laugh. Ha ha!